Maybe. I don't fucking know. It's up to you.
Should
As he walks off, the three men in the corner that have been playing cards this whole time stand up.
Like
And-
in response to him leaving?
Well, they see him go, and about a minute later, all three of them get up. And the one you saw who didn't react to you at all was just kept playing cards.
Right.
He walks over, and they're all wearing like deep crimson robes with insignia around them.
It's a Spanish Inquisition.
Not magic insignia. Just there's like symbols on the robes. Most of it is the symbol that looks a bit like a coin, but it's got a little serpent on it, and it's on a coin, and there's one on each of their shoulders and a large one on their back.
Can we roll to see if we know what this is?
Sure,
What would that be?
that would be history.
Ooh.
I would assume I know.
Bird person.
They're not a guild,
Ooh.
and they're very local, so you might not.
Wait, are they walking over to us or to the door?
They're just walking towards the center of the room.
Okay.
Yusuf, are you going to make a check as well?
No need.
All right. So, musical, you'll remember them as the Scarlet Movement, members of the Scarlet Movement, which is they're a very, very devoted religious group that's been specifically in this area protesting against the town and the leader of the town. They follow Shess, who's the one that sounded like cheese, the gold one, who's a god. Let's check. She is neutral evil.
Neutral evil?
Neutral evil.
Ooh.
She's
Profit.
seen in a lot of different lights, because on one hand, Shess can provide things like wealth and opportunity and power. And on the other hand, she can promote self-preservation and egotism and very non-friendly things. Yes. But you know that yes.
Right.
You know they've been arguing and debating the current city council and temple. They're arguing about trade restrictions, as this is a port city. Fun stuff. As well as basically trying to get more representation for different gods in the temple, as it's solely devoted to Orient.
Malnak despises bureaucracy. Yeah, Malnak feels uneasy too. Nobody walks to the center of a bar, and he's kind of, yeah, he's sort of like handling his greatsword, but not in like an aggressive way. Just sort of leaning against the table.
Yeah. Well, they are looking for attention, as when they walk into the middle, they begin talking, or more starting a speech about Chess and the goods of the town and how you need to take it back. Because, yeah, they're those kind of people.
Malnak rolls his eyes and shoves his drink into his face.
They start talking about how the Scarlet Movement is fighting for representation of all the gods in the temple, and how it would benefit the city greatly with their idea. And
I'm making
how they are
undercomment.
in full support of the town. What?
Zephyr?
What was that?
My character makes an undercomment that it's those types of people is that makes the god seem a lot worse than it actually is.
Malak nods approvingly.
Give me a second. Oh,
Oh,
never mind. Yes. No
Please,
one,
can we shit talk every enemy?
no one in Scarlet hears your comment, Fergal. Yes,
Good.
they start talking. As they're talking, you see some of the townsfolk do start actually turning their heads and giving them attention. Some of them start mumbling to each other about how the temple's been brutal and it's not okay, and the farms have been suffering, etc., etc.
I don't know. I kind of lean over to the person who moves the totem. And I'm like, should I throw a stone? Throw them to the side.
Even I didn't understand that one.
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
gibberish.
So I lean over to the person and I like take out a very small rock. I like, should I toss this to make another boom?
I look at the rock, identifying it as the one that almost fucking murdered me, and I give you a giant thumbs up and a grin. Didn't you see it before?
You saw it, there was a thing on the ground.
Is that your
Uh,
percep?
well, here's the thing.
I would say Arcana.
Yeah, it would be Arcana. Yeah, so you know what that rock is. That rock is a thunderstone. It's a thunderstone,
Mhm.
and you know it as it's a common, easy item for different alchemists to make, and different guilds have made it before. It's a magic grenade that basically throws people around the room and shit.
Doesn't
It's the
actually do
spell-
any damage.
It's the spell Thunder Wave in a rock.
Malnak puts a gold on the table and slides it into your direction.
You have a gold to give, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yusuf, are you going to do anything?
I'll stand up and stare intently at the stone.
So the ragged man gets up from his chair and just stares at the rock in your hand.
Whoa.
As you guys talk about this, you see the albino dragonborn walks over, and he leans in right in between Dizzy and Fergor, and he says, "Listen, I'm all for getting them out of my bar, but you better do it outside. I've already got one scorch mark today."
But see what these scorchback works.
Real slowly, Malnak drags the coin back towards himself.
Thank you kindly. And the bartender goes back to cleaning the glass he was cleaning.
I kind of take the thunderstone and I crush it in my hand. It's like darted.
Does
The
it
other-
go off?
I hope not.
I don't think so.
If I don't use it, it just disintegrates. So that's
The other bartender you see walks up to the dragonborn, whispers something to him, and then heads towards the back and heads up. You can roll a perception. Yes. She says that she's tired of the damn Scarlet movement. They keep chasing people out of the town, and they're brutal, and people just need to stop being caught up in all of this. And then she says, "Listen, I'm going on break," and walks out the back. The Dragonborn nods and goes back to cleaning his glass. And you see he's been kind of eyeing the members in Scarlet the whole time, just waiting for them to do something. They're just talking. And then finally at the end of the speech, which has been going on in the background while you guys are talking, the leader, which you assumed by the dude that didn't flinch basically, and he's been in the center the whole time, he's been the one talking. He says that for those of you who would like to show your support, you can meet us outside of town. And for the rest of you, I see you staring at us. We will not be judged and we will not be unheard. And he walks out the door. The other two, one takes out a small sack, opens it and plants it on the floor, and then the other two walk out. Immediately, the townspeople go to the sack and open it, and they all start pocketing the money that's inside.
I run to the bag and try to grab us.
So you go running. Can you make a dexterity check real quick? Okay. So you manage to push through the crowd. They're a bit shovey, but you get through them and you start just throwing coppers into your bag, I assume. Just
Okay.
grabbing what you can take, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get about 20 copper, just grabbing it out of the bag. Yes.
No, he rolled a 1.
That's true. That was the first fucking roll of the campaign. was one. But yes. So you start, as the bag is emptied by the various hands, you see your hunchback friend just shoving money into his bag. And the townspeople start getting up, and with a cheer, one of them says, "For the movement!" and walks out the door with a few of his friends.
I say,
Okay. I come back to the people who were at the bar. I kind of having my head down in a sign of guilt. I put a gold coin down and I like shove it towards the barkeep. It's like saying, I did not intend to go for the gold. I have a situation. And like I slowly turn away and release the coin.
You're giving this to the barkeep?
Yeah.
It's all right, little man. And he just takes the gold, puts it in a jar on the counter, goes back to
Malnak
work.
puts a hand up to the barkeeper, like sort of correctively, and says, "Please, bird person."
Oh, well, I'm very sorry. Bird person. Correct himself.
Reverend, my name is.
Ah, Revan the bird person.
Malnak says, "Oh, he's making that sound again," and then drinks more.
Well, the Dragonborn turns and he looks to you, Artois, because I can't say your first name and I'm never going to be able to.
Okay.
And he says, "What's your story? You've been awfully quiet."
Have no story, sir.
I have no story.
Well, you got money for a room?
No, I do not.
Get out.
Troubled by adventures, you might be.
Malnak says he's got a really fancy letter opener, though.
I noticed. It's quite the sword. Doesn't really match with the rest of your attire. You from around here?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I figured. and he takes a swig from his drink and goes back to cleaning this thing. And then, in a comment to all of you, says, "Listen, I'm gonna have to ask all you to leave eventually. I gotta get ready for the festival tonight."
Malnak's on his 7th drink now and decides that he is ready for the festival tonight.
You should also make another Constitution throw, my friend.
I think I'm good. Nat 20.
With a belch and a cheer, Malnak keeps drinking.
I say, if you're gonna throw us out, at least give me something for the road.
So, two things. One, the Dragonborn chuckles and says, "Well, I've given you plenty already." And then and Revan, that is that just a D20? I don't know
Yeah.
how Identify works.
It's like D20 plus intelligence, but my intelligence is worse than enough.
All right.
It's a 20.
So, yeah. But still, that's a +2 for your mod.
Yeah, it's 20.
Okay. What does Identify do?
I just figured out what an object is.
Yeah, it'll tell him the rough, like, shop price of the object. It might. Yeah, it'd be like appraising it.
I
You
would
have-
also know if it's a magic item and what magic it possesses.
That would probably be an Arcana check. Appraise might let you know that it's magical. You'd have to make another magic-based
he's
check to
right.
see.
Identify lets him learn whether any spells are affecting the item or if the
Oh
item.
my god, so strong.
But you need to touch the item to understand to cast Identify.
Just grab it straight out of the scabbard.
I just kind of touched it without him noticing as I
Okay.
moved my hand.
Make a slide
Yeah.
ahead.
I hope your dex is good.
What would
That one.
Meezer perception, right?
Yeah.
All right. Roll a perception, Yusuf. Do you know how to do that?
Of course not.
Okay.
Just click
Go to the
perception.
character sheet and perception.
I'm going to.
Ooh,
Darn.
bad news bears.
So I
Yeah.
did. I clicked.
I
So-
just touched it. Nothing bad.
Yusuf, you notice a small hand come out of the cloak and try and touch the hilt of your sword. What would you like to do?
I'll respond by taking out my sword and pointing it towards.
Do you stand up and point it towards him?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Are you?
I just kind of poked the sword,
Aggressively.
and I use this opportunity as to just poke the sword while casting that spell still. And I'm like, don't worry. It was just shiny. I wanted to see the elaborate designs of the sword.
Now that it's out of it, see that it is an It
You
is.
cut out.
You cut out.
It's incredibly nice. It's a scimitar, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a very elegant scimitar. There are orange gems along the hilt. I know my ping's dying, but it's okay. There's orange gems and then along the actual blade. Sort of glows faintly.
Well, I did touch it because I
Yes.
poked it to move away. So I should know what it is.
Your Identify
Hmm.
will tell you that it does not have any spells cast on it. And you don't know, you know that it is magic in nature. It is magic imbued, and it has an immense power behind it. You don't know what made the power, and it doesn't have any specific spells tied to it, nor does it have like attunement or anything. It's just an immensely powerful magical weapon.
Malnak, almost slurring his words, says, "Oh, fancy beggar pirate. No need to accost bird person like that. After all, it's the night of the festival, which is, I believe, the solstice.
Yes, it's the Summer Solstice Festival.
I say it's the summer solstice festival. Obscure bird person. And stain the memory of the solstice for the rest of your life."
Are you just speechless, Artois?
Indeed.
He just stares at you blankly. Are you going to lower the sword, or is it still at Revan Bird person's throat?
I'll lower the sword and put it back into the waist.
In one smooth motion, he puts it back. The gems along the hilt slowly stop glowing. They're still quite nice, though.
Warlock might you be? Traveler in ragged robes?
Wait, what do you say?
I have no idea. It sounded like a wallop. Like, you may be a wallop. I don't know what a wallop is, but he might be one. That is true.
It's not even just the accent, it's just that it's backwards as well.
Yeah, it's the Yoda that's fucking with us. There we go. Yes. We've got Discord. Whoa. Alright. So, are you a warlock, Yusuf?
I don't have the answer.
Nope.
No, you don't.
Yeah, so I
You
won't.
could also lie as an answer. It's up to you.
Nope, I just won't answer it.
Tell him you're a warforged.
Just all right. So the warlock, the warlock is silent.
I say, of course he's not a warlock. He has no tentacles at all.
Listen, we've got beeswax, like the wooden blast pole, bird person, and warlock.
Huh.
Beeswax.
I get it.
what was I?
Fucking, you've got the exploding wooden pole. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Man with exploding wooden pole.
Malnak's not entirely sure if it was his pole that exploded. He's come across this problem before.
Well,
Malnak points to the 4-foot wooden totem pole on his back.
yeah, I assume it's just been at your side this whole.
No, it's now harnessed to my back.
Oh,
My sword's at my side, leaning against the bar.
Yusuf, are you gonna sit back down?
Nope, I'll keep standing up.
All right, he's standing sheath. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
would you guys like to?
I'll roll for history to see if I remember if there is any of the Alchemist Guild here.
Okay. Can I ask you? Do you remember where the guild was headed? It was in Orient, right?
As far as I'm aware, I haven't left this town.
No, I'm sorry. Where was the like guild headquarters? Are they in Oregon?
As that was never specified. I'll leave that
Specify
up to
it.
you.